Are you ready for some high school football?
Welcome to Plainsmen Football with Steve and Steve.
And it starts right now.
And now it's time for football in Plainsmen Football with Steve and Steve.
Somebody fire me up!
Welcome to Plainsmen Football 2016. Thanks for joining us once again. Another quick week. I don't think it's 7 days, Coach. I look up and there you are again.
I know football season is a blur. There's no doubt.
Well, Plainsmen football team was on the road last Friday night. Traveled all the way down to Choctaw, just kind of north and east of Oklahoma City. But they, besides being on the road to play football, they found the winning road by coming back with a huge win, exciting win, 43-39 district win. Those really count, and that's exciting. Coach, if you would. For those that didn't go to the game, they missed a thriller, if you will. Mm-hmm. But if you would, just kind of give us the last minute and a half. You're behind, but somehow, miraculously, you get the ball back. Yeah. A big play. Talk us in from that point on to scoring the winning touchdown.
Well, at that point, it was 39-36, and we had really kind of battled our way back into it after being behind. We really didn't play well in the first quarter, was behind 19-7, and over the course of the game, put ourselves in a position where we could win. And our offense had turned the ball over on downs on our end of the field, trying to go get a score to win the game. And so we thought, for all intents and purposes, with one timeout left, really all they would have to do is kneel and the game would be over. And they ran a run-pass option play, and the quarterback chose to pull the ball and throw it. And Marlo Hughes made a great play on it, intercepted it, was tackled at our 24, which put us in position for a 76-yard drive with 1:30 left to go in the game, potentially to win the game. And 8 plays later, 17 seconds left on the clock, Colton Troxel ran a 10-yard stick route to the corner of the end zone, and Mason Scrimger did a good job of putting the ball in the money, and Colton made a great catch, got his toe in bounds, and put us on top 43-39, and then our defense did a good job of finishing. Dalton Dyson, who will be on here in a little while, made the game-ending interception on a long throw down the sideline, and we were able to secure the victory, and it was a sweet one. It really was a great way to win and beat a good team this week, so we feel we're good about it.
So when it's a minute and 20, minute 30 to go, you get the ball and you got 74 yards to go. What's the thought process for everybody there? Is it already etched in your mind that, okay, when we have a minute or so in the game and we got 50-plus yards to go, we're going to do A, B, C, D? Do you just revert to that?
Yeah, and every Thursday we practice that with a minute 30, so it was kind of eerie. Last Thursday, we started with the ball in the 40 in practice, and one of our kids said, Bryce Dillingham said, "Coach, that's too easy. Let's back it up to the 20." And so we backed it up to the 20, and we didn't know how prophetic that was going to be for the following night. But it's something we practice every week, is what we're going to do in a 2-minute drill. Really, for us, it's 90-second drill. And our kids, you could tell Friday night that they were used to doing it. They were very focused. You look at our mechanics between plays. The kids getting the play, getting to the line of scrimmage. We only had one timeout, which enabled us to run the football one time. Did not even necessarily need that timeout because the kids did such a good job of lining up and running our plays.
So tell us, what's going on in the locker room after the win? The reason I ask that is because all wins are great, but you needed a win.
We did, and this is a team that Enid High School hasn't beaten in 4 years. A team that, if we want to make the playoffs, is a win we have to have. And they're really in the same position. They were 0-1 as well and lost a close, tough game the week before. It was their homecoming, and so that was a hard-fought battle from their standpoint, too. They were very competitive, didn't want to lose, and to be able to find a way to win after starting so slowly, I think is a huge momentum boost for our season, a big confidence builder for our kids, and just really, really proud of the way we finished the fight, really for the first time this year.
I had some concerns in that first quarter, and you've kind of touched on that when you're behind 19-7, and they had a young man that was left foot kicker who could really kick that ball.
Yeah, he was impressive.
And he was impressive. And it seemed a little bit like a slow start. Was it a slow start or just why 19-7?
Well, I think offensively we were starting a new quarterback, and he was kind of getting broken in, and once he settled down, we kind of started moving the ball, and were able to score and pull us within 13-7 at that point. Defensively, we just started slow. Their first 3 drives were touchdowns against us, and we've got to have a better effort to start the game. To the defense's credit, they figured it out and played pretty well. Had a huge fumble recovery for a touchdown to start the second half that pulled us within 1 point right off the bat and really made it a competitive game. And so I'm glad our kids fought through it, especially given how we struggled the 2 previous weeks. You kind of worry about our mental state, and our kids showed their toughness last Friday night, and that we started slow, but they didn't use it as an excuse and fought back and found a way to win. And big win for our program, just because I think it mentally puts us in a different place. And
I kept thinking of your phrase, slogan, finish the fight.
Yes.
Really came into play.
It did.
For the ball game last Friday night.
So this first fourth quarter we've won all year.
Big win for the Plainsmen as they have another district win as they defeat Choctaw 43-39 last Friday night. We'll talk about Deer Creek later on in the show, but that's their upcoming opponent. That will be a home game for the Plainsmen here in just a few days. Coach, we're into the highlight section of our program. What type of highlights are we going to see?
There was some really good stuff. It was hard to pick this week because there were so many big plays. Defensively, you're going to see Colton Troxell's 60-yard touchdown return of a fumble, a great 3rd down and 1 stand on our end of the field. Our whole defensive front makes a big play there.
And Colton was our student-athlete guest last week,
correct.
I believe.
Yes, sir.
So it was fun for me to say, as a fan watching the ball game, telling my wife, I said, well, that was the young man that was in the studio the other day.
And he played great both on offense and defense. Dalton Dyson had a great interception in the first half. He ended both halves with interceptions, which was pretty good. And then on offense, Will Phillips' 40-yard touchdown run, Lincoln Sefcik's 20-yard touchdown catch, a great catch by Orion Tafoya, got us a big first down, and then another great play by Lincoln Sefcik on a crossing route that extended a drive on 3rd down. And so some good stuff, and really could have put a lot more on there.
Well, very good. Congratulations, Coach, on the big win to you and your staff and, of course, all the student athletes. And let's take this time, quit talking about the ball game, and let's show some of the highlights as the Plainsmen defeat Choctaw Yellow Jackets last Friday night. Welcome back to Plainsmen Football 2016 with Steve and Steve. Special segment that we have for you each week is our student-athlete segment. And we have with us this morning senior Dalton Dyson. Dalton, number 5. Did I remember that right? Your jersey number is number 5? Yes, okay. Sir. And you may need to say that later on as you're talking with the coach to remind everybody, because people like to associate that number with the face. So anyway, welcome to Plainsmen Football. Congratulations on the big win last Friday night. And sounded like you lost your voice. Is that from just what?
I was screaming all night.
We assume that, Coach.
Well, Dalton's a great person to have on the show. He's had a tremendous offseason. He was a kid who was a JV player for us last year, and through a lot of hard work and dedication in the offseason has become a starter for us on the varsity on Friday night. Had 2 big interceptions Friday night to end both the first half and the game, basically on the same play. Did a great job of playing the football and staying deeper than the deepest receiver, breaking and hanging on to a contested ball. And so Dalton's come a long way. Real proud of him. And just a great kid, and does a great job in school as well. Dalton, why don't you introduce yourself and let the people know who to look for on Friday night.
Hey, all right. My name is Dalton Dyson. I'm a senior, number 5 for Plainsmen.
Play free safety.
Oh, yes. Play free safety.
Play free safety, defensive player for us. Dalton, talk a little bit about the things that you did and this offseason and the ways that you've improved from last season to this season. It's helped contribute to you having a great year so far.
And really, the 7-on-7, that helped a lot. Helped a lot with me, the coverages and staying deep and making vision breaking. Coach Young is really teaching me up good,
Mm-hmm.
It just, if you listen to Coach, they won't steer you wrong. It worries.
Yeah.
So I've been doing so well, just listen to what coaches tell you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Our 7-on-7 league in June, you really did come a long way from the beginning to the end as well, and you've also done a lot of work in the weight room, getting your body ready to compete this year. What do you feel like defensively we've done well and improved on this first half of the season? What are our strengths in your opinion?
I just feel like mentally we actually know what we're doing. I felt last year we lost a lot, and this year we're more prepared, and I just feel like we do a better job of getting ready for the season this year.
Yeah, I agree. You guys do a good job during the week of working hard as well. In your preparation, had a great week of practice last week, I thought. And it really showed up in the second, third, and fourth quarters. Why do you think we started so slow Friday night, being a part of the defense?
Man.
A lot of people in the stands had the same question.
Yeah. So did the coaches.
Yeah.
They just came out hard, and just people weren't filling the gaps. And I'm glad we figured out in the second half, though, and just be able to finish. That's important. We need to finish.
Actually, in the second quarter, what people don't realize is game speed is a little bit different than practice speed, huh?
Yes.
Yeah,
There's a big difference.
Starting offense is different than scout teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think defensively we need to improve on the second half of the season?
Starting the game off, I don't want to do that again. That's not fun, getting in a hole like that early and just starting the game off and holding them. We need to start like we finished the game.
Mm-hmm.
And just play like that consistently, and just don't look at the scoreboard ever. And we did a pretty good job of that.
Yes.
Against Choctaw, and able to come down with that win. And we just need to play the same throughout the whole game, and everything will be all right.
I think you hit it nail on the head. We put 4 quarters together. We're pretty good.
Yes, sir.
We're pretty good. I agree. I like that. That was good, Dalton. Dalton, you're a senior. You'll graduate in May.
Yeah.
It's strange, isn't it? I mean, it goes fast.
About fast.
Yeah. What are you going to do when you graduate?
I want to go Oklahoma State, and I'm not sure what I would like to go for yet, and I'm still figuring that out. I'm not sure what I want to do the rest of my life.
Yeah. That's not uncommon. That's not uncommon.
Yeah, I'm still thinking.
Figure it out. Well, Dalton, you've done a great job this year. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Dalton, I have one final question for you as we close out the student-athlete segment. And I'd like to ask this particular question. What will you take away from this team experience? For those who've never, maybe they've just played in individual sports, but this is a team concept. What will you take away from that?
I feel like when you play football, you have a advantage over everybody else. You're in that environment. You're accountable for your actions, and you say you don't do your job. You get taken your spot off, and it's kind of like in a job. You don't show up one day, and you can get fired. And I just feel like playing football has really taught a lot of life lessons, and I feel like it's going to help me later on down the road be a better man, father. And
Absolutely, life lessons.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for being here at the studio today. Congratulations on the big win.
Thank you.
And then we look forward to more. Our special student athlete segment today featuring Dalton Dyson, number 5, plays safety for the Enid Plainsmen. And we appreciate Dalton making it to the studio today. We'll have more with our assistant coach segment, which is coming up right after this. Thank you for staying with us on Plainsman Football 2016.
Price Dillingham, junior, wide receiver. I'm Rich Moody. I'm a junior. I'm a Deanna nose guard.
Austin Whitehead, junior, center. Marlo Hughes, junior, running back and safety.
Baltazar Austin Loza, senior, outside linebacker.
Welcome back to Plainsmen Football 2016 with Steve and Steve. And Coach, I enjoy that when we get to take these breaks, we don't necessarily get to see it, but we're introducing to the viewers some of the other student athletes and coaches as well that are not featured on the show. So we appreciate the opportunity that we're able to show on video. And that was back in August when those students got to introduce themselves. And so we appreciate the opportunity to do that as well. Well, we're at our assistant coach segment here on the Plainsman Football Show, and Dusty Quarles is our special guest today. And Dusty told me he coaches defensive tackles and defensive ends. And then my next statement is, you have to wrestle around some big guys because they're and you need big boys on defensive tackles and defensive. Well, Dusty, welcome to the show today, and Coach, he's all yours, if you will.
Well, Dusty, you have the good fortune this year of coaching a lot of the exact same kids that you coached last year.
Correct.
And seeing them improve and progress and definitely better in the front this year.
Yeah.
I think that may be the most improved part of our football team is our defensive front from a year ago. I kind of talk about the work that we've done and how we've gotten from point A to point B.
Well, I mean, it's all the kids. You know, we're doing the exact same scheme, everything that we did last year. The guys, I feel like they've really bought in, and they definitely put the work in to improve. We had a really good summer, really good off season, and it's definitely paying off.
Yeah, definitely can see an improved strength and athleticism in our kids as far as being able to make plays this year that they weren't in position to make plays last year.
Sure.
Real impressed. Who are some of the kids that have really stood out for you this year?
Oh, Josh Faulkner, who was on the show a few weeks ago. He, just his energy, his attitude he brings. Same thing with Augie Pritchett, another, it's really hard worker, great character.
Yeah.
Chaz Espina, Chaz gives us something, very important. Every single week he gives it everything he has, and he's been a really good leader for everybody else on the team to follow. And, I just got a really good group. It's
good kids.
I'm very fortunate. Very fortunate.
I agree. Moving into the second half of the season and now having to get to evaluate the kids over 5 games in a scrimmage, where do you feel like we still have room for improvement defensively?
There's always a lot of areas, a lot of room for improvement. We got to do a better job just, playing our responsibility, playing our role, not trying to do too much. I think a lot of times, we look at the scoreboard a little too much, and we try to make plays that aren't ours to make. But overall, I think we're doing a great job, a lot more so than last year in a lot of areas. But just
from a football education standpoint, there's a lot of people that don't understand this idea of being responsible for a gap or what even a gap is, and that's so much a part of what a defensive tackle does. Can you just briefly explain what a gap is in the offensive line and the importance of a defensive lineman in regards to that gap?
Sure. Well, the gaps are, you have from your center to the guard, the offensive guard, that's the A gap. From the guard to the tackle, that's B gap. From the tackle to the tight end, that's C gap. And, we're at a 31 front, so up front we're in a 3 technique, which means you're outside shade of the guard and you're responsible for A gap. On the back side, you're in a 1 technique, so you're responsible for that A gap. And then you've got the backers behind. They are responsible for the gap that the defensive lineman's not currently occupying. It's very important. One of the worst things that can happen is get double gapped.
Yes.
Because then we're
I think that's one of the ways we've improved so much this year. So often last year we were caught out of our gap.
Sure.
And this year we've done a much better job of maintaining our gap integrity.
Right.
So,
Coach, you mean we just don't line up and play? I like to take the Coach Hayes back to the leather helmet days when I played. Okay, you just played. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
Coach Quarles, let me ask you this: can you kind of share with us what your role is during a ball game? Are you on the sidelines, or are you upstairs, or what's your role? Because during pregame, you see all the coaches out, and they're all working with their respective players and groups and so forth. And your role is?
I'm up in the press box.
Okay.
I watch our defensive line and the opponent's offensive line, and just help with, where they're hitting us. Are they running a certain play? Are they, last week it was GT. They were running a lot of guard tackle pull, and they pulled the guard a lot. So
But when you have a guard
tendencies.
the size he had, you could
Yeah.
pull him.
He was a big old boy.
Yeah.
Big kid.
And well, Dusty, thank you for being here today. We appreciate that. Coach, did you have any closing questions?
No, I mean,
if
just-
not, I'm sure you'll see him this afternoon at practice.
Yeah, just to reemphasize that really our defensive front is the most improved part of our football team from a year ago, and in a large part it's Dusty and Kareem's work with the kids.
Yeah.
Done a
Very
great
good.
job.
Coach Quarles, thank you for being here
I
in the
appreciate
studio
it.
today.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations again on another big win. Dusty Quarles is our assistant coach that we're featuring today, coaches the defensive tackles and defensive ends. Well, we're going to talk about the character quality focus, a little bit about Ask Steve, the question of the week, if you will, and then we're going to look at the next opponent in the few minutes we have left, and that's Deer Creek. And we'll do that right after this.
Mason Scrimmager, sophomore, quarterback, wide receiver.
Orion Safoya, senior, receiver.
My name's Logan Harrell. I'm a sophomore, and I play linebacker.
Kyler Bridenstine, sophomore, center.
Garrett Lane, sophomore, defensive tackle.
Thank you again for staying with us on Plainsmen Football 2016 with Steve and Steve, and I hope you enjoy the opportunity on these breaks and these timeouts that we have to meet some of the student athletes and also the assistant coaches, because it's really easy to look at them from afar, from the sidelines, but we're trying to open the window a little bit so you can get to see what these young men are all about. Coach, you said the character quality focus this week will be on honor. Explain that to us. How does that tie into high school football?
To me, honor is something that's not really talked about much anymore, and it's unfortunate because honor is a word, and if a person's living an honorable life, it's such that they understand that they represent more than themselves, that they need to carry themselves with pride in who they are. It's about how you treat people. It's about keeping your word. It's about having class in the way that you use your words and actions. It's assigning something special to who you are and what you do and recognizing that you're that person all the time. And so I'm excited about talking about this with our kids this week because I think honor is something somebody can have regardless of their socioeconomic status, who their last name is, where they came from, and how much money they have in the bank account.
And I'm so old school that I just like the sound of the word.
Yeah, it is.
Just honor. I just like the sound of that, and I'll always have.
Kind of reminds you, and it's like to me a reference of the greatest generation, and just a time in our country where we have a lot to be proud of, and I want to really renew that in our kids as well.
Very good. So honor is the character quality focus for this week at Plainsmen football. Well, I'd like to remind everybody, again, if you have a question for Coach Hayes or even a question for myself, you can send us an email at asksteve@enid.org. That's ASKSTEVE. We'll figure out which Steve that question needs to go to, but it's asksteve@enid.org. Coach, before we look at the opponent, I've got a question. I'm going to email the question in to you right now.
Okay.
Talk us through, say, next Friday, home game.
Yep.
From morning till kickoff. Talk us through what takes place. A lot of people don't realize, well, there's classes, there's meetings, talk us through that sequence, if you would.
Well, early Friday morning, the kids come up, and we have one last walkthrough on both sides of the football, and if we have some time, we'll watch a little bit more video, basically of our practicing, how well we executed our game plan against the scout team. And then Friday afternoon, they get to the field house around 2:50. We feed them a meal so that they don't go from lunch until 11.
What time is that? I can be there. I'm always looking for my next
meal. Come on, man. 3
so.
o'clock. Yeah, 3 o'clock at the field house.
Okay.
And
3
then
o'clock.
we typically watch an episode of a series called America's Game which chronicles the Super Bowl year of a particular NFL team. And we like to watch that because it shows the qualities of a championship team. And so we watch a team overcome adversity, win a championship, and it's a 45-minute show without commercials. And so we watch that, and then we do one final walkthrough on both sides of the ball, and then we have a 20-minute character meeting. All that stuff concludes a little bit after 5 o'clock, and the kids get dressed and get prepared to go out for 6 o'clock pregame warm-up.
Yep. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Next week, or the next Friday night, I should say, home game with Deer Creek. I believe they're 1-4 overall. They are brand new to 6A football, or brand new to Class 6A in some regard. I believe they're 1-1 in district as well. They had a real challenge last week with Midwest City, the Bombers. I know they played Southmore, and I think on my research, they've already played some Edmond schools. So they've had a tough welcome to 6A.
Yeah.
What do we know about Deer Creek?
Well, their four
Besides that.
4 losses are to big dogs.
Exactly.
And so their record is a little bit misleading. They're 1-4, but they're a really good 1-4 football team. Beat a really good Stillwater team last week, which was kind of a surprise to some people, wasn't to me, because I knew who they'd played the weeks leading up to that. And, they throw the ball. They're up-tempo. They're a lot like us offensively as far as they want to spread it out and throw around the field and tag the run game off of that. Defensively, they're an odd front, 3-4, a lot like Bishop McGinnis as far as they keep things in front of them, play zone, and run a 3-4 defense. Athletically, they're good athletes as far as good football players. They're fundamentally sound. Defensively, they stay in their gaps. Defensively, their coverage people keep people in front of them where they're supposed to be. And offensively, their quarterback's really improved over the last 4 weeks and has become a good player for them. And so we have our work cut out for us this Friday night. It's going to be a tough football game.
Don't let their schedule mislead you in any way, because again, after playing a couple Edmond schools and a Moore school in Midwest City, they, as you said, they have played the big dogs. Well, that's coming up Friday night, home game for the Plainsmen as Deer Creek comes to town. Well, we'll have our closing comments with Coach Steve Hayes right after this. Thanks for staying with us on Plainsmen Football 2016 with Steve and Steve.
Coach Kareem Sears, defensive line, defensive ends coach, University of Nebraska.
Well, Coach, we're two for two.
That's right. We better not move apart.
Friday night's a special night. Tell us about it.
Yes, sir. Friday night is our Pink Out Night in honor of breast cancer awareness, and we're actually having the kids help raise money to help fight breast cancer, and so it'll be a great night and a great cause.
So for the coach's wardrobe, do you pay to have pink on your wardrobe for a coach as well?
Well, we have our kids pay to wear pink, and our coaches aren't real that excited about wearing pink. They'll just pay
they'll just pay them
to maybe not have to.
I just wanted to get clarification, because if we see Coach Hayes Friday night up and down the sideline, and he's got pink socks on, we'll know that he's in support of finding the cure for breast cancer.
There's no doubt.
Okay, so, all right, anything else for Friday night? We need a big crowd.
Big game, big opportunity to kind of move up in the standings towards the playoffs. So we'll kind of have be in the driver's seat if we win Friday night for one of those 4 spots. So I'm excited. Very good. Coach, thanks for being here. Appreciate your time. Thank you. And appreciate you being here with us on Plainsmen Football 2016 with Steve and Steve. Make it a great day. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching Enid Plainsmen Football with Steve and Steve on ETN.